Okay, so this is the last step in prepping my bees for winter. I'm treating them with oxalic acid dribble. So, 5 milliliters per seam of bees, like where there's bees, 5 milliliters. And this is 1 liter of 1-to-1 sugar syrup by weight and 32 grams of oxalic acid. And then just a veterinary syringe to measure it out. These clusters are pretty big. Almost every hive looks like this. Just 2 boxes of bees. This one here was my best honey producer this year, even though it was a nuke. Looks good. Just boxes of bees. I'm all done feeding, so I'll treat them with this, and then after I'm done treating, I push them together, and then I'll come through and wrap them up, and that'll be it. They're still on that dry pollen. They've taken a lot of that. They've taken probably 15 or 20 pounds-ish, so that's quite a bit. They look good. Here's that hive that was bearding a month or so ago. Still has 2 boxes of bees here. Looks good. I'm not sure if this one swarmed or what happened. I've heard reports of hives swarming this fall, which is weird. They usually don't swarm in the fall in our area. But it looks good now. 2 boxes of bees here, so they should be alright. These hives are also nice and heavy, which I mean they should be. They took 3 pails of syrup each, but yeah, they're hefting really nice and heavy. So, nice heavy hives, right full of bees. Low mite levels. Young queens. They should just fly through winter. Here's one of the later made nukes. These are with Saskatraz queens. I made them up end of June with 3 frames of brood, and then I boosted them up a little bit a few weeks later. They look pretty good. There's 2 boxes of bees in there. It's not very warm out today either. The bees just finally started to break cluster here. Okay, so it's been a few days, or maybe 5 days now since I did the last clip there. I was in a bit of a rush, so I didn't record much, but I finished dribbling them all with oxalic acid, and then I got them all wrapped up here. I finished putting mouse guards in. I put mouse poison in the winter wraps here. So they're all pushed up against one another, all nice and snug in groups of 4, and then they have the winter wraps on them. Here's the top entrance. Bottom entrance down there with a mouse guard. I'm not using entrance reducers this year. I'm just switching over to these metal mouse guards. Last year, I cut up a bunch of wooden entrance reducers, and probably half of them got wrecked by mice, or they just broke, or something. A lot of them, the mice chewed the holes open enough to get in there, and then they get inside the combs and they chew holes everywhere and they just destroy it. So this year, I've seen some other beekeepers using this. It's 1/2-inch hardware cloth. It's cut, 4 inches by whatever the width of the bottom board is. Or the bottom board opening here. Then I just push it in there. Mice can't get through there. They also get more ventilation this way, so hopefully it'll keep them drier. I've checked and I can see moisture running out of there even. And I was worried it might be a little bit too much ventilation, but then I thought, once we get a good snowfall, the bottom entrances almost always get iced over and, all covered with snow anyways, so I think it should be fine. Hives are all in good shape. Oh, the pollen feeder, it worked. There's no snow in here. It's all nice and dry in there. If we get any warm weather, this will give them something to forage on. Yeah, they're quite full of bees. They're all hanging out at the top here. And at the bottom. Bees all the way across in there. That one, they're tucked in there a little bit more. There. So these winter wraps, there's 3 pieces. There's the side here. This is R12. There's, here, I'll show you. The top cover here. This will shed rain and snow off. And then underneath here is the insulation pillow. Oh, it's actually warm in there. I can feel the warmth. That's neat. So this is R20. So it's R12 on the sides and R20 on top. These ones are commercially made. Some people make their own. I just didn't think it was worth the effort. They're made really nice. It's like this black tarp-like material. The insulation is like kind of like snowsuit insulation. Mice have a harder time chewing through this than like the insulation that you'd find in a wall of a house. And then underneath here, these little packs of mouse poison. Just these little blue pellets. A friend gave me these, so that's in here. There, because mice will get in there and they'll chew holes all through the wrap, and then you open it up in the spring and it just smells like mouse piss. It's really gross. So I'm finally just putting mouse poison in there. No animals can get at this unless they rip in there. I have heard of skunks ripping open these winter wraps, but luckily I haven't had any skunk problems, so should be fine. But yeah, they look good. They're all wrapped and ready for winter. I don't really have to do anything with these bees until March or early April now. If it's warm enough in March, I'll come out and check them and make sure that they have enough feed and treat them for mites. But other than that, that's it. Oh, I'm not burying my bees in snow this year either. It's too much work, all the shoveling, and then I have to unbury them in the spring and the snow gets all iced on there. And if I don't unbury them, it takes quite a while for the snow to melt off. I'm just going to leave them. I know a lot of people that don't bury their bees in snow and they do just fine. The snow does help though, it's an extra insulator, but I'm not really too worried about it. This location here is really good. There's good southern sun exposure, and they're surrounded by trees all around them, especially to the north and the west, so they have very good wind protection. It's kind of a heat sink in this area too. It's always nice and warm in the summer. Lots of sunlight. These girls are quite happy. They're hanging out up the top. Most of them at least. This hive here is just a huge monster. It's like 2 boxes of bees when I dribbled it with oxalic acid. Oh, they finally moved inside. But yeah, they look good. I think that they should winter well. Knock on wood. I've done what I can for them, so they should be alright. I'll close up this wrap here and then that'll be it. Alright, maybe I'll do some videos of the bees doing cleansing flights throughout the winter, but that's pretty much it. That's all the beekeeping for this year. Alright. Okay, one extra clip here. Here's why I quit using these wooden entrance reducers. This is what happened to most of them last year. These mice chew at it until they can get their head in there, and then they get in and they start chewing up all the combs. Oh, this one in the end broke off, but it chewed a big hole in there. And see, here's another one. These take a little while to cut up, so that's why I switched over to that metal hardware cloth. I'll see how it works. It should work just fine.